Hello? Are you out there? Can you hear me? Let me get you in the chat. Anyone? Can you hear me? Welcome, everyone. If you're here, I see some people are here. I'm starting to come on in. Excited to see y'all. Would love to hear as people are getting in. Would love to hear. First of all, welcome. Would love to hear if anyone's having any like ad creation challenges, pain points. Start dropping them in here. Start letting me know, and I will start to try and respond to some, and see what we think. Like, if you got questions, now's the time. Let them rip. Or not even questions, but questions later, I guess. But tell me what you're struggling with in creative this year. Tell me what you think is going to be a challenge with your creative in the next year. Love to hear any of that. Whoa, 55 people, 56. That's a lot. Good to see y'all. We're going to wait a couple minutes to get going here. But in the meantime, please let me know like what thank you, Dave, for chiming in. All right. Good to see y'all. Robert, what's up? Biggest pain point I have is all of the spend usually gets funneled to one execution. Oh, wow. People are really chiming in. One execution in a campaign and nothing else gets any spend. I love this question. I could spend 2 hours talking about this question alone. I won't because we have other things we need to cover. But Dave, great question. And the question I would throw back to someone if you're seeing all your spend go to one ad, I would most of the time say good. Great. It is frustrating. It can be annoying, but overall, like assuming you're optimizing for your goal, the right goal, and the system understands what you're trying to do, you want the system spending as much as it can on that. Even if it doesn't look like the best performing ad, even if it doesn't have the best apparent CPA, it's especially over time. If it's consistently winning over time, that ad is probably actually really, really a big, big winner. And instead of trying to like worry about why is all the spend getting funneled to that ad, you should be looking at like, how do I make more like that ad? Or what do I take away from that ad? How do I investigate? Dig into the video view metrics, if it's a video. Dig into the click metrics if it's not a video. Dig into the click metrics either way. Dig into the secondary metrics. Look at, are people sharing it? Are people commenting on it? That's what I tell anyone to dig into is like, be happy that you have an ad that can scale gigantically and try and make another one. Try and make 5 more. There's a lot more to that I don't have time for, but that's a really fun question, Dave. Thank you for that one. Let's see what else we got here. Wow. Struggling a bit with collection pages. Interesting. I'm not sure I totally follow if that's a landing page question, but I would definitely suggest if that's a landing page question, I'll still address that anyway. By the way, welcome anyone else who's joined. We got almost 100 people here. That's wild. Really great to see everyone. But yeah, answering this question about struggling a bit with collection pages, like try different destinations. And also like a collection page can have so many variables to it. Like you can sort by whatever you want. So maybe have a collection page that's sorted by top sellers. Maybe it's sorted by price lowest to highest or highest to lowest, or you have featured ones at the top of the collection page. There's a lot that you can do. I recently worked with a brand where we started featuring UGC testimonials in the collections page, like amongst the products. So there's a lot you can do with collection pages, but I also wouldn't necessarily marry myself to collections pages depending on the product. Good question there, Javier. I hope I said that right. Trying to beat DPAs with real style talking to camera ads. Justin, great question. You know, DPAs can be great. If you have something that is unambiguous, easy to understand, people look at it and they like it, they can buy it from DPAs. That's great. You don't need to beat it with video or with anything else, but you want to supplement it or complement it. Either way, you want to be growing that and building that in a way that like just you're finding more scale and more reach, because DPAs only really work well with the people that are kind of more in market for that. But some products that's just going to crush. Some products, it's just the nature of the product it's obvious and people want it, especially apparel. Like it's hard to beat like just DPA sometimes with apparel or jewelry, stuff like that. No, and Justin, no, to your question, no, you don't suck. Who else we got questions here? You want to buy my course? Will you give an extra bonus on the webinar? I don't think so, but stick around. Stick around. We're going to talk about more about the course a little bit later. Oh, what up, Dara? Dara, that's nice of you to join. That's very kind of you. Thank you for joining. Please keep your comments coming. And Javier, I mean, I guess since you answered my question here about what it was for, creatives or collection pages, I'm not sure if you can elaborate. And also for anyone else who's joined, wow, 140 people. Welcome. We're going to dig in a couple more minutes. But right now, just taking some, I want to hear your challenges and pain points for creative in this past year and moving into 2025. What are some of your creative struggles, pain points? And hopefully I can try and answer them quickly. So jam them in the comments right there, or just say hi. Let me know where you're coming in from. Would be great. But yeah, overall, like hearing the questions, because a couple of these questions suggest to me that a couple of you are having successes. Oh, thank you, Prem. A couple of you are suggesting, it seems like you're having trouble like scaling stuff that isn't just images of ads, like images of products. And you want to be able to make better ads that can do more to more audiences who maybe aren't immediately in market for that product. And that's a fun challenge. And that is certainly what we're going to be talking about in this course and in this webinar. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to get all that. Audiences with creatives. That's a great question. I love that question. And to me, the question is, yeah, thanks for highlighting that. That's a great question. The answer to that is maybe don't try different angles. Like, I don't notice, I mean, you said messaging and concept, but like, try 1 million times. Take that angle and do it again and again and again with different people in different settings, in different speeds, in different ways. Like, sometimes that's okay. Like, maybe devote more of your energy to that angle rather than trying to find new angles. If I was working with you closely, that's probably what I would do. Is try and just keep pounding on that angle, because it might just be the most effective angle in your ads, and then maybe focus on other angles and things in your site, in your emails, and elsewhere. They might not be as thumb stopping. Let's see what else. See if we have time for another one or two here. Thoughts on top of funnel would be awesome. From Leslie here. I mean, my thoughts on top of funnel, we'll dig into this, I think, a little bit later, and certainly in the course. But yeah, I think my view of top of funnel is that I don't really believe in that much of like a rigid top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, or any of that. I do believe that you should be testing new concepts to cold audiences. I think that's really important. We'll talk more about that in the course for sure. But otherwise, I think that now, for the most part, the system through Advantage Plus shopping campaigns kind of handles it for you. So I don't rigidly believe in like doing that. And then for top of funnel, do video, do images, do everything. It doesn't, the format doesn't really relate or anything like that. Let's see here. Mark. Oh, cool. Thanks for the note there, Justin. Ross. Oh, Ross, good to see you. What's the next evolution of the Post-it note ad? Anything else you can write on? Write on anything. Great question, Ross. Love you. Good to see you, dude. Thank you for tuning in. Very good to see you. That, like, writing on anything, writing with other things. That's great. We got time for maybe one more. Yeah, good, Dara. Great call out here. Content that scales is more important than top of funnel. All right, let's dig in here. Let's kick it off. 164 people here. Hello, welcome. I'm Barry Hott. If you don't know who I am and you're here, please jam a comment in there and say how the heck you got here. I'd be really curious to know what the heck you're doing here, but I love you for it. And to everyone else who, if you already do know who I am, I'm still going to give you a bio, still going to tell you about me. So buckle up. I'm Barry Hott. I'm the crazy guy that loves to post on Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere and talk about my pretty unique experience in the ad industry. I've been doing this for almost, I can't even count, since 2008. And I've spent nearly $1 billion on ads myself. I've literally studied billions of dollars of ad performance on stuff that other people have run and stuff that I've run. I've made hundreds, if not thousands of ads myself, many of which have failed, many of which also have succeeded and spent many millions of dollars, including some with my own silly face in it. So that's fun. So I really do know what it's like to make ads, even edit ads. Like I think a lot of people wouldn't think of me as an ad, like video editor, but I do it all when I can. And that way I can really give better guidance to other editors when I need them to do work for me and other team members so they can figure stuff out. But yeah, I've worked in the past. Earlier in my career, I started, like a lot of you, I helped my neighborhood hair salon and sushi restaurant. That's where I kind of really got started. Actually, I first started doing recruiting ads for summer camps. That's where I started in 2008. But since then I've moved up, went through kind of the agency world, a little bit of the startup world. I've run hundreds of millions of dollars for brands like AT&T, Toyota, Kraft, Microsoft. So many of those brands I've gotten to spend a lot of money for in lots of different ways and see like what it's like to deal with a lot of red tape, see what it's like to deal with a lot of different people's ideas and how they come together and disagree. And sometimes maybe just are too many yes men in some of those situations, and understanding organizationally how creative can, like an organization structure can get in the way of creative performance. And that's something we'll also be talking about a little bit today, but more so in the course. So that's exciting. And then, I've spent more time in the more D2C aggressive growth marketing space. I've worked on brands like Lumen Skin, Harry's Razors, Athletic Greens before they were AG1. I've helped work a lot of behind the scenes for a lot of these brands that and see today that are pretty popular. And this is what I'm like passionate about. And like I'm just like a passionate nerd. Like I just love advertising, and I always have since I was a kid. Like I used to love watching ads, and I might make a long form YouTube video about this one day, but like one of my favorite ads as a kid, just to touch on this for a second. I don't know if any of you in the US remember or are old enough to remember the Di Serono on the Rocks ads. There's this one classic ad. And I remember it specifically because I was way too young to drink. And I just remember seeing those ads on TV where there's like an attractive woman who just finished drinking her Di Serono on the Rocks. And then like the bartender goes to take away the glass and there's an ice cube still left in the glass. And she like takes the ice cube and goes to like lick it. Like that stuck with me forever until I was over 21. Maybe I was under 21. I was probably 20. When I finally, went to a bar and like was able to myself, like probably, I don't know, 6 years later, like try Di Serono on the Rocks myself. And that's where a lot of my understanding from ads and thought comes from, is the long-term impact of ads. So a lot of people think like, oh, Barry's he's Mr. Make Ugly Ads. Like he doesn't think about brand impact. No, I absolutely care deeply about how ads make people stick with people. I want to make ads that are like that Di Serono on the Rocks ad. Well, much better than that ad, but at least an ad that can stick with you like that, because it changed my understanding of what something could be. I had no idea what Di Serono was or what amaretto was. And now I only know what that is because of that ad. And it eventually, maybe, the attribution window on that was probably 7 years, not 7 days, but it did get me to eventually take action. So a lot of what I'm talking about might seem to a lot of you short-sighted, or might seem like some of the principles of make ugly ads. Like, why would you make a post-it note ad? It's to get attention. And if you fail to get attention, then you fail. Your ad fails overall. So I'm trying to think what else I can tell you about me. I also helped launch Lone River Ranch Water in 2020, which is a hard seltzer, not D2C. That was only in retail. That was a really interesting problem to solve. And we ran a D2C ad playbook for that. And after 1 year, that business got acquired by Diageo. And I was responsible for the ads, the creative, the whole performance machine there. That was me. So that was really exciting. And since then, I've kind of been out on my own doing consulting, just kind of messing around on Twitter, messing around on LinkedIn, doing some consulting for some brands. And I also own a piece of AdCrate, which is a performance creative agency. Huge shout out to my friends at AdCrate, who I'm going later today to fly to Vienna to go to a retreat. AdCrate is an incredible performance creative agency. If you're here, like, I definitely recommend the course, but also if you run a brand and you need another creative source, which is something we're going to talk about a little bit later today, hiring an agency like AdCrate, you can hire other creative agencies, sure. But hiring one like AdCrate is a great way to get more creative into what you're doing. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, first of all, again, welcome to anyone who's just joined. Over 200 people here. Hello. Welcome. If you're in the US, if you're in the East Coast like me, thank you for spending your lunch with me. If you're in the West Coast, good morning. If you're in Europe or anywhere else, good afternoon, good evening. Really excited to see you. And for anyone else who's in other time zones in Asia or whatever, it's late. I don't know what you're doing up. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about creating winning ads in 2025. I want to just start from like just the base level, where you can start. Everyone can start. Like, I don't care if you've been doing this for 10 years or 10 minutes, and this is your first time learning about Facebook ads. Like this should be relevant for you. Some of you are already going to be aware of this, but stick with me because we're going to move on to the next level shortly after that. And it's going to get more and more relevant and important for you. So, the first thing, like I just tell everyone to do is just shoot ads. Actually, I'm wearing my Make Ugly Ads hat right now. I actually have another one I wish I swapped on right there that says just make ads. Like, I just want to shake you. Like, I wish I could come through the camera right now and just shake you. Just go make ads. Like, as soon as we're done with this webinar, go make ads. Like, honestly, while we're shooting, if you have, like ADHD like me and you can like multitask, like pick up your phone. Hopefully you have some post-it notes within reach. Always have post-it notes within reach. Never don't have post-it notes in reach and a Sharpie. And like start writing an ad idea down. And not even just an ad idea, like write something down that would relate to your audience that you could stick on your product or stick on something emblematic of your problem that your product solves. That's like, yeah. I know post-it notes, like, I thought by now, after I've like promoted post-it notes for a long time now and like given away that free nugget to the whole internet and I've advertised ever, I thought that would be played out. But I consistently still see that concept work for brands big and small. And like, I still recommend you do it. Like, I still recommend that you use that as a jumping off point because it's so cheap. It's so easy to do. And it's like, it's fun. It's both fun to do. And I'm trying to pull some up here, that I have written next to me. If I have any, like write down like what the problem is. Like I have one right here, like just taste artificial, right? Like, and you put that on the problem, right? If you have like, if you get the competitor's product and like cover the product with that, you can do that in a photo. You can do that in a video. That's the easiest thing you can do. Just start writing. And if you can't write it yourself, you don't know where to start. First of all, this course is certainly for you. If you do know where to go, this course is also still for you, because we're going to get more advanced. We're going to talk more about what else like you can do. But yeah, just start shooting something with that. Shoot it in your hand. Don't worry about getting a fancy camera. I'm the make ugly ads guy. Yeah, I have a nice lighting set up here and we're using a nice camera, you know, like, but this isn't an ad. This is I'm trying to make something that's relevant to this thing that I'm making here. If this was an ad, I definitely wouldn't be using this lighting and this setup. Maybe I would to like emulate a podcast type experience, but really I'd want to shoot it, you know, handheld in my hand, selfie, whatever. Find a way. Part 2 of this, you know, like how to like shoot high performing ads on your own. Again, just go shoot, like go talk to the camera. Maybe start and like write out some bullets. Maybe talk to ChatGPT or Claude and figure out what you would say to a friend who doesn't understand why someone would buy your product. How would you talk to that person? And record that. If it helps, have someone else actually record it and have them ask you questions. What helps me often is just give yourself some questions. Like have questions for you to answer. I think that like that's one of my best. I'm at my best often when I'm being asked a question rather than just like being put on the spot. Really hard to just go and just make an ad and just say like whatever. But start with a relevant couple words. Be really thoughtful about the first couple words. Make sure like you're targeting with your words. Do that in the first second, you know, as quick as you can. And then just like you can say like, hey, blank. You don't even have to say blank, but you can say like people with this problem, or you can say blank lovers if they love something, or, you know, hate blank ? You know, if you hate boring golf gloves, shout out to Mordecai here. If you hate boring golf gloves, or you say golfers, hate your boring golf gloves, or your golf gloves are boring. And then just talk from there. Just talk from there like you would to a friend, explaining to them why you're not doing a pitch like you would to like, you're not doing your business pitch, but you're just explaining to someone passionately and explaining why they would want it. Just do it. Like literally just do it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And also what a thing I recommend so much is like, do it in different ways. Do it on your desk, do it walking around if you have a warehouse, do it in the warehouse, do it walking on the street, do it like by the pool. Be thoughtful about the setting. I tweeted about this earlier. Like what's in the background matters. You know, there's a lot that you can do with that. Like, let me see if I can show you guys. Let me see if I can show you an ad here. Let me pick one right here real quick. Yeah. Let's look at here.
All my friends got a bidet after they saw how it works.
How does this thing work?
Like literally showing an ad, like in the ads, it's in the bathroom. So you already know what this is. Like you already know what this is about. That's like, there's no one who's like looking at this and like doesn't understand what this is going to be about. So be thoughtful about about your setting. Jess, so glad you're here, Jess, by the way. What's the best type of toilet seat to wear while filming? That answer is of course obvious. That would be Tushy. HelloTushy.com. They are a client. Big fan. I use one every day to spray water in my butt. Thank you, Jess, for asking. But yeah, like there's so much that you can do. So just start making ads. That's the main thing. We can stop sharing this for now. But like, I don't care where you are in the food chain. I don't care if you're an intern. I don't care if you're the CEO. I don't care if you're some marketing person somewhere in the middle. Like, go make something. If you're going to be here at this webinar right now, you have the ability to do it. If you're going to take this course, you're going to have the ability to do it. And I'm going to give you way more on where to start, how to improve it, how to really get it dialed in and fine tuned and like nail it down so that you feel less of that, like, where do I start? How do I make this work? But in reality, just starting it, making something and getting it done, getting it shipped, like, done is better than perfect. Just get it out there and get in the ad account and just quickly see what scales. Yes, this is going to be recorded. This will be available after. Good question. Thank you. And again, thanks to anyone else who just joined. Welcome. Hello. We're talking about creating winning ads in 2025. So, number one, just go make stuff. Make stuff, test it, get it live. That's how I got here. That's how I'm the make ugly ads guy. Is I shot an ad concept I had, sent it to the client, and we were like, we sent it to the client so that someone prettier than me and more professional looking than me could go remake it. And then we ran that ad and it didn't do well. And then we decided, okay, let's run my version just in case, just to see anyway. And my version crushed. So it's one of those where I was able to do something more authentic, more relatable than an actor or a customer or whoever else that we could have hired to do it could do it. So it's not because I'm necessarily a great actor or a great whatever. It's because I'm passionate and it's because I understand the problem for the consumer and I understand as a marketer. So combining both of those things, again, stuff we'll get more into in the course. Next step related to that, digging a little bit deeper here, is that like UGC, most of it's pretty bad. Like I hate where the term UGC has gone. Like we're gonna have to unpack a little bit here. But like for those of you who've been advertising in the space for like 3, 4, 5 years, 5 years, let's say 5 years, like you probably remember when like UGC was all the rage and like anything that was shot UGC was. How are there two? Jess, how are you in here twice? You're posting on Twitter and YouTube. Wild. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted by my friend Jess here. But Jess, to answer your question, yes, you are too handsome. No one's too handsome. Anyone can make ugly ads. Thank you, Dara. Anyone can make ugly ads. Any product can make ugly ads. But yeah, UGC used to just often win because it didn't stand out. Our expectation on Instagram and Facebook 5 years ago was to see content from people we know for the most part. And if a piece of content came in your feed that you didn't recognize, well, that was probably something you don't follow. And if it looked super polished, then it was clearly an ad. And people got used to that. We have subconscious ad blockers in our brains. Our brains don't want to see ads. Like our brains want to see good content that's relevant to us. So just simply by making stuff that looked like the content that your friends would make and post, that used to be the bar. It used to be that simple. Since everything's become a For You page like TikTok, everything's been TikTokified, it's become harder. The average consumer is now being fed not just like stuff that isn't from their friends. It's the most viral and or most relevant stuff to them. I think back again 5 years ago, you'd see stuff that was like from your friends or from other people you follow, brands maybe you follow, or super viral stuff. Remember the Harlem Shake? Anyway, now it's evolved, and the stuff that people are mostly consuming is not from their friends. Most content you're consuming on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is not from someone you know personally, and it's often not even from someone you know from the internet. Just complete strangers. You're fed random stuff constantly, and being novel is relevant, and being novel is important, and being perfect is usually a sign of something too polished. And something that is probably an ad. Very little of the content you're probably consuming is probably perfect. If you're a graphic designer, maybe you're consuming a lot of really polished, perfect content, maybe. if you're, a marketer who really likes marketing, maybe you're seeing a lot of polished marketing stuff. But overall, the broader content that most consumers are consuming is low quality. And that's because it's easier and cheaper than ever to make content, to shoot something. I mean, every one of you shoots more photos and videos on your phone than anyone would have 5-10 years ago. Storage for the photos and videos is cheaper. The ability to shoot is cheaper and easier. Like the friction has just decreased. So, that's what people are still expecting. And I don't expect there to, even as it gets easier to make nicer looking content, I still don't see a future in which higher quality content will be the majority of what we are consuming. Now, I very well might be wrong, but go and look at the content that is getting many, many millions of views on TikTok and YouTube. YouTube's a little bit different. Shorts, I would look at for that. But like Instagram, Facebook, there's a lot of low quality stuff. There's high quality stuff too. Sure. There's podcast recordings with nice studio lighting. Yeah, sure. But a lot of the stuff with tons of views is like on shaky cameras that look like they were shot on a potato. And that's what it is. So to my point here, how do you find like creators who can do this for you? So aside from you shooting yourself, how can you find someone who can make stuff for your brand, for your product? And there's two ways that I look at this. One, go after your customers. I think in 2024, 2025, the balance of amount that I see people spend on creators, external creators, influencers, which I hate that term. I'd rather a creator. To me, an influencer is someone who like has a lot of followers and thusly has influence. A creator is someone who, in my opinion, makes great content that can scale and can be relevant to broader audiences than just their followers. I think there's a big difference there. But like, try and think and research, what is your product, your brand's audience? What do they follow? What do they subscribe to? Who are they paying attention to? What content do they see? What does it look like? And find creators that shoot in that style, that make that kind of content, can speak about that, and figure out a way that you can partner with them to get your brand, your product in their content. It's hard. This one's not easy. But you can build relationships with these creators. I often tell you people to look for, and again, stuff we can dig into more in the course, is you're looking for creators who get preferably more views on their content than the number of followers they have. That's often a good sign for me, is like they're consistently able to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, even though maybe they only have, 5-digit or 6-digit follower counts. That's typically a sign of a really good person who's making content that gets a lot of scalable eyeballs. Because if you want to use it for ads, you want to be making stuff that can scale. You want to be making stuff that if you put money behind it, it's going to be relevant to more and more people. So that's one. Actually, I went to two. The customers. One is to go after your customers. I said, we don't do that enough. So like, go after your customers. Spend money. Pay your customers either cash, Amazon gift cards, or in gift cards, or whatever, a free product, depending on what it is. Some brands don't have it doesn't make sense for them to get another product. Like, how many bidets can you have in your home? They're probably better off getting cash or an Amazon gift card to speak about the product they love. And the thing about this, I would rather get someone who bought the product themselves and wants to speak about it. I would rather pay that person to talk passionately about their experience and why they bought this product, and give them good prompts, which is, again, something I'll talk about a little bit more in a second, but also something we will certainly dig into more in the course. But you want to give them prompts to get from them stuff that you can use in ads that will relate to the potential customers who are going to be seeing it. And it's much, from my experience, it's much easier and much better and much more authentic to do that with existing customers who already get it, rather than, I don't know about how many of you, I don't know if you guys show an emoji here, show a raise of hands, but like how many of you have failed when you need to like prompt a creator to understand, like you pay a creator some money or you partner with them in some way and they don't understand how or why to buy, someone would buy your product, and you have to spoon feed them and explain to them, here's all the problems our product solves. Here's what it is. And then either they just don't get it or they don't care, or it comes off like they're reading a script or reading bullets. That sucks. I don't know how many of you had to deal with that. I bet a lot of you. I hate that. I really, really hate that. And like the way to do that, yeah, you could do. There's an easy argument there. Someone could say, like script better. That's it. That is a thing. You can do better scripts. You can give better guidelines. You can give them better prompts, sure, to creators, but often they just don't care enough. They like have other things to do. You're probably not paying them in a way enough that it's going to like really matter that much to them. So I think you're better off with happy customers. Interesting point from Jess here. Creators aren't actors. Don't make them act. I think there's some creators are actors. I think, so I don't know if I fully agree with this. Some creators are actors. But the ones who aren't, oh wow, Sarah Levenger's here too. Oh, hi Sarah. By the way, huge shout out to all these people. I forgot to also say before, shout out to Dara. I know I'm promoting here from my course, but I think that Dara's course is fantastic as well. I would recommend anyone do both of them. They are certainly going to complement and supplement each other. But yeah, going back to kind of what Jess said, what Sarah's talking about here in the chat, love to see it. A lot of creators are definitely not actors, and they're not going to be able to act it well. They might not be able to make what makes sense for your brand. And also, like, even though I'm telling you to go after creators, a lot of times creators just aren't marketers. That's the other problem. Like, they know how to make stuff for their product. So if you see like, it's probably not beneficial. Like, I've seen brands like do like one of the guys from Is It Cake or whatever it's called, like have them make their product in a cake. And like, I don't know, that's a brand awareness play. Like, is that going to get someone to go and buy your product? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe that's a good attention grab. Maybe use that as a hook, but just on its own, it's probably not that great of a piece of content. So important to remember, like, even though I'm telling you find the right creators, I don't just mean to use their content as is with no like editing or nothing else. Dara said, I like to find creators that are already creating content in the niche I serve. That makes sense, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, and even if you don't hire them, like that's what you should be looking for for inspo, for your ads, for your content to make for your audiences. And then, I think I was saying before, like, I think one of the things I want to show you guys is like, I have, let's see if I can pull this up on my phone here. Like, I have multiple Instagram accounts. And this is like core to me. Like, a lot of you have probably heard me talk about this before, but like, I have multiple. I have my own personal one. I have a beer one, cause I'm a beer nerd. I'm going to show you my car one. Like, literally, I didn't scroll anything yet. And like I got to show it here. The first thing that like came up is a car like video. Like, it's a totally different feed. And like, that's what you want to look for, is like, how do you get more content in like, how do you create a For You page for your interests and your, like, what your customers would be interested in, especially if you're not in market, like you're not the person who's in market for your product. Even if you are in market for your product, your own Instagram is not tuned for that. So make an Instagram, make a TikTok account that's tuned to that broader topic around your product. That's one of the easiest things I say. And like, find the stuff that makes sense, bookmark it, share it, like make a group chat with your other team members so that they can see it too. And you're not looking for ads. Don't do this and only go look for ads. You're looking for organic content to inspire you. You're not looking for ads. Sometimes you'll find ads too that are relevant to that, more relevant to that, and that'll be helpful. And then again, make sure you're incentivizing the right things. Like, I think I'd love a world where you're working with, oh, hey, Mr. Paid Social. What's up, Caleb? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. I'm a huge fan. But yeah, it's so awesome to see so many of you here. Thank you so much for coming. But yeah, find ways to incentivize creators or your customers. Like, I would love to say like, hey, we'll, you know, you can send out an email to your customers, say like, hey, want $50, you know, make us a video, and then you send them some prompts, and I'll give you some prompt ideas in a second here. And you can, again, easily use ChatGPT to come up with some prompts for you. But again, as part of the course, that's something we'll really, really dig more into here. Let me see if I have an example. Like a question I would just give as examples, like, what specific frustration do people have with regular blank that your product solves effortlessly, right? And then that's a prompt that like someone can then talk about their pain point. And now that you're going to have that pain point video and audio that you can go and use in an ad. And it's probably going to be super relevant because whatever that person's pain point was is almost definitely going to be a pain point that matters to a lot of other people that are going to watch your ad. And what you also want to do is try and find the pain points over time as you do more of this. Find those pain points that matter more and spoon feed that to your customers to like nudge them to say that. Like, so if it's like talking about jeans, like what specific frustration do you have with your rigid jeans from the past? And then someone's going to respond. Like, think if you were asked that question, what you would just say as a customer. You'd be like, oh, I hated how it felt on my crotch. I hated how it was stiff on my knees. Like, I hated how I couldn't bend over, right? Like, those are past tense problems, which are killer in ads. And that's what a lot of people are going to just respond from a good prompt. So make a good prompt, make a lot of good prompts, use AI to get those. And then like, so you're kind of working backwards from like, what do you want in your ad? Make a list of that, and then give that to ChatGPT basically, or Claude, and work backwards and say like, hey, I want to get these points. What questions do I ask a customer? Like, literally that's it. We'll dig more into that in the course, but there you go. That's it. Free nugget right there. Go do it. And then last point on that, like, again, I was saying like email your customers, say like, hey, here's $50 for you guys, for you to do this with a chance to make $1,000 more or something like that. Like, offer people the opportunity to make more and earn more if their ad does well. Like, I recommend this throughout the food chain, is incentivizing people to like be financially motivated and incentivized to make better ads. Like, however they want to do it. That doesn't mean they're going to make it more perfect and more pretty, but they'll probably put more effort into it if they know the goal is for them to be in better ads, or more. And you can put that in like a way that makes sense to customers, is like, tell us the most, crazy story. Tell us the most believable story. Tell us the most like painful story, and we'll reward the best one with an extra $500 or $100 or whatever it is, depending on your audience. If it's a luxury item, I don't know how much people will do that. But if it's also a luxury item, I don't know how much this is the right path, but it still is relevant. Like, you'd want, if you're selling a luxury watch, this is not a luxury watch. I don't care for luxury watches, but if you're selling a luxury, like, yeah, getting people to show it, incentivizing people to show it and show it in their fancy homes or on their private jets or on their yacht. Yeah, that's going to crush. So, and that's talking about how setting really matters, which is another part of the course we'll dig into. I don't think we're going to have time for today. So that's level 2 of how to create winning ads in 2025. Let's move on to level 3. This is a big one. Dara is going to love this one. Everyone's going to love this one. I'm going to say creative diversity. Dara would maybe say creative volume. I think it's a little bit of both. But once you have angles, stories, pain points, anything that's been working for you, take it and do it again. I'm not saying to do it to death, but do it again. Have the same person do it in a different location. take maybe a video of, if it's a video, take maybe the video of the person talking about it and use a green screen effect to remove them and put them in front of another clip. Hire creators to rewrite it. Get your internal team, you yourself, go and reshoot that concept. Like, it doesn't have to be word for word. It doesn't have to be exactly the concept, but like, break it down. What is the hook that seems to be working? What is the pain point that seems to be working? What about the visuals seem to be working? And just work around that. If it's static as well, like the same thing applies. Like, the static thing is going to work well if we go back to Post-it notes, right? Those can be static or video. You can do a reveal of a Post-it note. There's a lot of ways you can use video for Post-it notes, and I recommend it. But for the most part, to get started, static photos are probably the easiest way. Like, find different ways to do it. Like, literally, even from a static perspective, try different settings. Like, you can have, just from a photo perspective alone, it's easier than ever to do this. Put your product in different settings. A second ago, I was just talking about like a luxury item. Like, would you want to show a luxury watch just in a blank white studio space? Maybe some people like that. Sure. Maybe you want to show it in a back alley in front of a dumpster. Probably not. But the way the setting is set and comes into feed and comes in and people look at it, that immediately subconsciously affects how people are perceiving your ad and what people are already starting to think. So if you can have if it's a professionally shot high-end camera, that people understand background blur. They don't understand it, excuse me. They don't understand why things work and look a certain way. They don't understand the physics of a camera or a lens, but they do understand when something looks like it's shot professionally versus something looks like it was shot by their favorite creator, or it looks like it was something that was shot by like a doorbell camera. Like, people understand these things, and they also understand when they're being like hoodwinked by it. So try to shoot stuff in a way that a creator would. So again, and be conscious of the setting. So again, if you're going to shoot a luxury watch on a phone, shoot it on your arm on the phone, or shoot it with be thoughtful about what the person's wearing. Be thoughtful about the other accessories next to it. Nice, Dara. Be thoughtful about what you're showing. And you can literally swap backgrounds now. Like, anyone can use Canva. If you're not willing to pay for Canva, what is it? I don't know, $5, $10 a month, then you're not taking yourself seriously. Like, literally, it's worth it just to be able to do something like that. You can remove the background, swap in a background, whether it's stock images, whether it's other photos you take of other settings, or it's AI generated. Use a different setting in the background to just change that. Like, just make more of it. You can use the same messaging, the same kind of vibe, same aesthetic, but completely just changing the setting alone. So you can do that in statics. You can change the person in it. You can change the setting. You can change the pacing if it's video. There's so much you can do about video where you're just telling the story in different ways. You're showing, you're using different strips. And like, I'm not saying to only do that. I think this is what Jess wanted to bite his tongue about. I could be Jess, drop a comment here. Let me know what you're talking about here. I'm not saying to only do that, but for a lot of brands and a lot of people, there's a lot of scale to be found around strong messaging that has worked, that's proven, and just doing it multiple times in ways that are relevant to different audiences. So that's what you're looking to do. That's another way to find scale. Like, and the goal here for everyone, by the way, and a big part of this course, and a lot of what we're going to talk about in the course, is getting rid of some of the misconceptions about advertising. So many people are so focused on getting costs down and focusing on the ad with the lowest CPA, but that's wrong. Your goal is to get volume. Your goal is to get efficient volume. That's growth. That means you're spending more money, or you're finding ways to spend similar amounts of money or even less money, but to get more volume, more sales volume, more revenue. That's really what you're looking for growth. So that's a lot of stuff we're going to be covering much more in depth in the course. So yeah, like try and find more ways to like create more diversity in your creative. I'm going to take a little break here. I want to see if anyone I'm going to pause for a second here. If anyone has any thoughts or questions about that. Let me get a little water break. Again, thank you. There's 300 something people in here. This is amazing. This is wild. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Comments. Anyone else? He mentions, thanks for listening to the podcast. This Fahad, is it Fahad? I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad. Love that call here about the so what mindset. And this, I'll jump into that right here. Thanks, Hannah. I'll jump into that right here. Because it's relevant to this, which is like everything we just talked about, every little thing we just talked about. Like try to run it through this filter of so what from your audience perspective. Put yourself in their shoes, put yourself in their mind, their eyeballs. And if from the first pixels in the top of the frame, or the first sound they hear, or the first words they hear, or the first words they read, if it fails to quickly get past so what, your ad's failing. That's the bar. Like forget about like any other storytelling you need to do at any point in the ad journey. If someone is saying so what, you could say, like look at it and say so what, you've lost them. And it's hard to know that before you make an ad, or when you're making an ad, or before it gets live. But once you're reviewing ads after they've performed, that's usually when you can be like, oh yeah, now I see it. This ad didn't perform well, it couldn't scale, couldn't drive a lot of actions because it doesn't really pass the so what test. So like that's something that's like really important for all of these as you're shooting, as you're working with any customers you'd be working with, or as you're continuing to diversify it. It's so important to like have everyone in your food chain, everyone who's touching the creative, from the creators to the editors to the media buyers, understand these principles of so what. Like literally that alone is really helpful. So yeah, I think where are we on time? Oh, we're a little bit behind. Okay. So I want to dig in now. I want to shift over, and please drop your questions in here. We're going to have time for Q&A in a little bit. So I want to shift over. I want to talk a little bit about the course here. I'm going to show you the landing page for those of you who aren't already familiar with it. And I just want to talk about what we're going to do here, what the course program, kind of really is about. So this is about creating winning ads consistently and scalably. Again, I was saying a few seconds ago, whatever. The goal is to get scale. You want to grow your ad account, and you also need it to be able to continue to perform continuously. Because there's a lot of problems brands have, which is that they either aren't able to scale more, or they have so many ads that just don't last long. And there's a lot of problems around both of those things that are solvable. So it's how do we make scalable ads? How do you focus on evergreen ads that can last for years? I've literally made ads that last for years. Like, I know it's possible. So if you're focused on making an ad that's like, oh yeah, we got to get this like ad live for this week. Think about, what if we put all this energy into making something that is perpetually relevant? And it's really hard to do. It's it's not easy, but my course is going to help you with that. So like, this is really all about that. How do you make high converting ads that scale consistently? How do you never run out of inspo? I literally bumped into someone in my office space 2 weeks ago, and they were just like, we're just chatting about making ads. And they said, when do you ever run out of ads? And I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question before. I don't. It's endless. There is no amount for me. I'm never, the problem is more like I don't have enough time to create it all. So like, I never run out of ideas, and I'm also constantly consuming new content, and if you're not consuming content that your audience is, then that's a problem. You need to find a way to be consuming content that your audience would. Because like I said here, and I've said in my content before, and I'll say it a million times more, people hate ads. They really don't want to see them. I mean, even if they don't hate them, people don't want to see them. And my goal is to help you make ads that people want to consume. Like, I actually believe there's a world in which if every advertiser were to agree to make ads that were empathetic to the consumer, that's all what Make Ugly Ads is about. If we all make better ads, people will hate ads less, and then people will be more receptive to ads. Like, there's actually a world psychologically in which that could happen. I'd love to hear Sarah Levenger's thought on that, because I don't think that is actually possible, because most advertisers would never do that because they are too focused on themselves. But I digress. So yeah, this, I was saying I don't run out of ad ideas. And this is like what I want to be able to give you that gift. Here's my little head, putting Post-it notes on everything. It's not just about putting Post-it notes on everything, but that's a place to start, where it costs you $0 to make an ad idea, to produce it and set it live. And it takes you almost no time, and an amount of time that should be enjoyable. You should have fun doing. So that's what I want to be able to unlock for you, is how to basically create that flow of never-ending ad ideas, and how to always be able to fill it with new ideas. And also, how do we prioritize those? Whether you're a one-person shop or you're a 100-person team, I doubt there's a lot of 100-person teams, but however big your team is, making sure that you're able to prioritize and figure out what's best. And also, how do you have a disagreement about it? And how do you align on what indicators are what we're caring about? So this course that I'm making here, is literally to make you into an ad creation machine, and both you individually and you as an org. And this is why it's so important, where I think if you're working with anyone, they should be taking this too. Obviously I'm biased. Sorry for the money grab. I don't really mean to be like that, but really this is going to be such a high return on your time. Forget about the cost of the course. The amount of effort that you're going to put into this and get from it is a huge ratio. You're going to just get so much from it, because we're going to focus on how to be empathetic for the consumer, which is a thing most marketers, I think, don't necessarily do as well at. I think we often are taught more about how do we focus on the product? What are we talking about, the, core features and whatever. And how do we start from there? It's really how do we start from what the consumer wants, what the consumer needs, and how do we message to that directly and immediately. So yeah. And then one of the big pieces here that we're going to actually in the course is how to use my brainstorming techniques. I've been fortunate to work in environments where we had really good partnerships and relationships with each other. Deeply, one of my favorite books back here is Radical Candor. And that's something we'll talk a little bit about in the course, which is how to be able to disagree with people or give people direct feedback without hurting their feelings. And also everyone agreeing basically that even if you're the best at something, you can still improve, and you can still receive feedback to help you improve. And if you get a team of people aligned in that thinking around performance creative, and you're aligned on the goals, then everyone's going to be having this shared effort and the shared desire of succeeding. And that's amazing. And where you don't have to worry as much about ego, you don't have to worry as much about bureaucratic red tape. You're focused on making stuff that performs and wins. And that's a really fun place to be. And it's not normal. Like I just helped an org to get into an entire company, a client of mine, to get into this mindset. And that's why this is so important to me, like to talk about this, because the mindset of this kind of collaboration and that you can be wrong and that you should be right. Everyone should expect that they're wrong. And it's okay if we disagree. And we want to learn, we want to grow together, and we want to continuously improve. All these things are super important and valuable. And one of those methods that we'll talk about is how to brainstorm effectively. So having people be able to work with each other in a way where we can share ideas passionately, disagree with each other, but then also how do you set up a brainstorm, an actual brainstorm, as cheesy as that sounds, I think, to a lot of people. If you said a brainstorm to me a few years ago, I said, okay, this is cheesy. But I've learned from IDEO. I don't know if you're familiar with IDEO, a world-class like org for creative problem solving. They solve some of the weirdest product problems in the world, and they have a really great process. So I've basically stolen their brainstorming process, and you can use it to collaborate, just come up with raw, fresh ideas, and work with other people on it. It's also something, by the way, that I can show you how to use AI to do a similar thing as well if you're working by yourself and you don't have other people to work with. And you can also do both. You can work with a team, and then you can also like feed that into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want, and literally never ever run out of creative fuel. So moving on, struggling with making ads at scale, like the goal here is making ads that get attention, 1, drive action, 2, and we're doing that not from people that are already in your funnel. A big part of this course is also about how you think philosophically about your media buying organizationally, so that you're not just advertising to your warmest users, because so many of you out there listening to this and watching this probably are doing something in your media buying setup that is causing you to advertise a lot to your warmest audiences, which is okay. However, the learnings that you get from advertising to your warmest audiences are dangerous in terms of learning how to make ads for new audiences, which is where a lot of brands stall and fail to scale. A big portion of this course, a really important part of this course, is about how to set up your account, set up your campaign, or at least even just think about how to make the right ads for colder audiences that bring people in, that still can effectively work for warm audiences too, but without being biased by that data. That's complex, that's complicated, but if you make better, more relatable ads for colder audiences, those will work for your warmer audience as well. However, whereas the other way, making ads that work for your warmest audiences aren't necessarily going to work well for your coldest audiences. So, and a whole thing about that, about like how Facebook's data can be very misleading. Everyone wants to focus on the lowest cost per purchase ad, but that's not always the best. And we'll dig into this in the course as well. And I've posted about this in my content and my newsletter. So Google my name and the Facebook breakdown effect, or just go Google face down. Go Google Facebook breakdown effect. And there's so much out there that can help you understand why that's misleading. But definitely go check out my content about that. So yeah, we'll get you a way to make just a variety of winning ads that can scale. The goal is to move to the first question I think we had from this call earlier, was I just have one ad that's crushing and nothing else gets spent. Don't look at it as your other ads aren't getting spent. It's how do we make more ads like that one that is getting all the spend, and why is that getting all the spend? So yeah, I was just talking about the media buying. There's a lot of bad guidance out there. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. It's simultaneously extremely simple and also very deeply philosophically thought out. So it's something that's very simple to execute, but it requires, for a lot of people, it's actually going to be, so if you were starting from scratch, this is going to be super easy for you. If you're someone who already has an account set up and structure, this is going to actually be an interesting thing to relearn why a simple structure, very streamlined with a couple very simple tweaks, can drive so much more value, both from an optimization standpoint and from a creative learning standpoint. It's the key is unlocking both of those. You want the system optimizing for your desired actions on your behalf, and you want to make sure that you and your team are learning from the creative in a way that makes sense, and you can learn on how to make more scalable ads. So I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, and I'm going to explain to you why things work and why they don't. You're going to learn all of that. We can go through the site here. You can see more about, we're way behind time here. You can see some testimonials from, thanks Dara, and some of my other clients. And I want to go down here and just review the course guideline. I think I was supposed to do that already, earlier here. But yeah, the first section is strategy, no BS, audience research, creative strategy, enhanced by AI. So definitely go check this out. Like, read through here. We'll do a brainstorming session, and you can pick my brain based on all of my years of and billions of dollars worth of ad spend. Section 2 is creating ads people don't hate. Again, we talked about a lot of this already, but it's how to create an ugly ad in 60 minutes. Write the script using AI, shoot it on your phone, edit it on CapCut. Again, so anyone can do this themselves, even if it's not your job to do it, even if you're the CEO or the intern. It's not that I'm telling you it's your job to do this forever, but just do it for the experience. That's what we're going to learn. The more you understand how to do any of it, the better you'll be able to discuss it. Also, by the way, thank you for this comment here. Yeah, I love the little animations as well. Very fun on my website. These are a real joy when I saw these, when I got to see these on here. Really fun. Anyway, so back to, where were we? We just did 2. Let's do 3. We just talked a little bit about the media buying a second ago, how the system works for you and getting the system to work better for you. This is such a big key to all of this, is getting the system to work properly and you learning from the system properly. And then number 4, how to optimize the performance, how to build a scaling strategy for accessible ad account, and define the audience for your product, and figuring out how to make this all scale, how to make this all better. So it's starting February 3rd. It's 4 weeks long. There's going to be a lot of pre-recorded stuff ready for you. We're going to have weekly calls. This is not passive course. You're going to be learning directly from me in 20 plus hours of live workshops, Q&A sessions, exclusive recordings. You're going to be learning with each other as well. There should be tons of other marketers, business owners, agency owners that are going to be in this, creative team members. And we're going to have hands-on products. We're going to be creating ads, making iterations. We're going to be showing actual things that you guys are working on. I'm going to give you my feedback on what to do better. And it's going to be stuff that if you see the feedback on one person's, it's going to click for you to understand how I look at it and why I make ads that win pretty easily. And you're going to get that. You're going to gift you that. You're going to get all of that. And then we're going to have some special guest teachers. Dara, who's here, Dara's going to do a little guest session. We're going to get Alex Cooper from AdCrate. I don't know if you follow his YouTube or on Twitter, LinkedIn. He's fantastic. My business partner. Love the guy. He's going to give a session, probably a little bit about some AI tricks that he has. And there's going to be over $1,000 in bonuses, including templates, access to all the materials. We're going to get you a LinkedIn verified certificate, and some of AdCrate's operating system. So you'll actually get some of the tools we use to run our agency and creative operations from there. So yeah, tons here. And I'm trying to think where else I need to go. I guess we can dig into some of the reviews. Where's my little review cloud? Did I skip it already? So you can see how I've helped a lot of people. I mean, these are just notes from people that I've consulted for. And these are people that have paid for a lot of people who I've either worked with extensively as a media buyer or as a member of their team or whatever. And also people who've paid for my full hourly consulting rate. Like this course is literally, the cost of this course is less than 1 hour of my consulting time. So like you're going to get a ton of value from it. I don't know if I just tweeted this yesterday, like someone who I had one consulting call with made one ad for Black Friday and Cyber Monday that consumed 25% of their entire ad account because of what I told them to do. And like that beat out the other ads that they spent thousands of dollars on from influencers. They paid celebrities for stuff. And this one of the ads that they shot because I told them to, took up 25% of their spend through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and is now something that they can replicate and scale evergreen in perpetuity. So there's that. And this is the first time I'm doing this. And we're doing this offer right now, which is only available for a few more. Was it? I think it's Friday. Someone on my team confirm. I think this is running through Friday. I think it says on the site here somewhere. Yeah, 2 more days left. 2 days, 10 hours left for you to get this deal. This sounds like a jerk. I'm going to sound like a jerk here for a second. I really did not want to offer this course for this cheap. So if we do this and when we do this again for another cohort in the future, I really do not want to do it for this cheap. I think I'm giving away entirely too much. But so if you're here right now and you're like, that seems like a pretty good deal. Like I really wanted to charge way, way, way more than this for this, because I really do expect anyone who takes this course to get, all it takes is one winning idea, one new idea that wins. And I have no doubt in my mind that anyone who takes this course will get at least one winning idea from this immediately. This isn't about hacks. This isn't about like, oh, just put a Post-it note. It's about psychologically, how do we make stuff that people like? And how do we make stuff that people want to pay attention to and click and take action on? So if you learn any of that from this course easily pays for itself, like at almost any scale. If you're spending $5 a day, this should be able to get you to the next level. So you're spending way more, but like I'd wager a lot of you are spending hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a day. In which case the cost of this course at its current rate is nothing, literally nothing in the cost of your advertising in the grand scheme of things. And you are going to get so much. I do not enjoy how much I'm giving away here. But yeah, in the future, I'm definitely going to be charging more for this. And the price is going up. There's only 50 spots at this price. So I don't remember how many are left, but I think there's only a few. Should be enough for some of the people on this call to get it. So I definitely would want to rush you to get that. And then you can also just get the recordings if that's something interesting. If you're not interested in doing the live portion, fun. I get it. I don't know. I think the live portions are going to be way more fun. If you're enjoying any of this right now, I think you'll enjoy any of those live segments too. So yeah, trying to think if there's anything else that we need to cover here, but I think we're good to move on to Q&A. So if you have any questions, like now's a great time to ask. And if I think of anything else, I'll let it fly here as well. But first of all, like 385 of you, this amazing. Thank you so much to those of you who are already my friends. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. To everyone else, thank you for joining. Even if you don't take the course, it means a lot to me for you to have stayed here and listened to anything I have to say. Thank you for consuming this. Thank you for consuming any of my content. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your desire to improve. Bravo to you. I hope you found this super valuable. Yeah, let's take some questions. Let's see what you got to say here. Let's go back. I saw some questions coming through. We talked about the so what thing. So that's fun. What's the number one error? Let's go back here. Advertising. I love that. That's fun. What's the number one error nowadays you see brands make when it comes to ads? I still think people make ads too pretty. Like don't use the filter of like, how do we perfect this? How do we make this good? Use the filter of like, how do we make this? How do we shoot this in a way that a creator would? How do we shoot this in a way that your friends would? That's it. Like, so many people, like, even when I'm gonna call out Mordecai. Mordecai made a post-it. Mordecai, who, if you watched, I did a little video reviewing his ad account and some creative with him. That's available, I believe, still available for free on this page somewhere. Like, he made a post-it note ad that was pretty good, but he like still centered it perfectly. And I was like, dude, like, make it a little off center, or like make it a little more like imperfect, or shift it so that the post-it note with the text is at the top of the frame. So it's the first thing people see. There's a lot of things like that we're going to dig into psychologically, philosophically in this course that you're going to learn that you wouldn't have thought of. So I think that's is still natively, most of you are watching this, or almost all of you are surely, as someone I would classify as a marketer, and thusly you've been taught either directly or indirectly to make things kind of centered and perfect and awry, not awry, kind of teach you why and how to make things less perfect. So that's my thing. Here's a great question here. Any suggestions on video length? You get one of my favorite answers, which is, there is no such thing as an ad that is too long, only an ad that is too boring. Like, I really mean that. If you can keep attention and you can keep relevant attention, keep going. You can think about and study old, like, infomercials from TV. We talked about this a little bit in my like round table. It's on my YouTube channel. Go check that out if you haven't already. But like, go study old infomercials where there's like 2-minute ads on TV, where you'd go from, and sometimes 30-minute or 90-minute infomercials on TV late at night, where you can go from like watching a cartoon to suddenly have an ad, for like ShamWow or for Flex Tape or whatever it is. And there's always so many problems they're showing. And then there's but wait, there's more. And then they'll keep going. And those ads often feature so much creative diversity. They feature different problems, different people telling different problems, so you can find more people to relate to. So yeah, there is no such thing, I think, as too long. It's important to be mindful of how different length videos can show on different placements. And you also want to be making ads that are, a big part of this course will be how to make ads that are as scalable as possible, meaning they can work on as many surfaces, placements as possible. So you want stuff that can work on Reels, Facebook, Instagram Reels, Stories, Feed, all of those. So you got to be a little bit mindful of that. But like a 2-minute, 3-minute ad, I've seen them work. I love to make them. In fact, one of my favorite things I've ever done in advertising was make a one take ad of me eating a bag of chips for like 3 minutes and no edits, just no edits. Actually, there's one edit I just trimmed off the front, but there's no cuts in the entire video. It's hard to do. I don't recommend that, but it is possible. And that just keeps going and going and going. And that was the point, was to test that hypothesis. So make long ads that are worth continuing to watch. I like this point from Jess here. There are media buying setups that require volume creative. They need to be fed a lot. These aren't required media buying setups are ideal, though. I agree. I think that, I don't know if it's a setup thing or it's a philosophy thing, but I think, again, something we'll dig into the course is like, there's too many of you who turn off ads. You will see an ad's performance look bad and you will turn off your ads. Don't do that. If you'd like to understand more about why, I've posted about this on Twitter and LinkedIn and in my newsletter, all freely available. I suggest you go check it out. But if you really want to dig into that concept more, then my course is for you, because you are probably losing lots of scale and lots of money by turning ads off manually. Good point there, Jess. Oh, thank you for buying my course. That's very nice. I appreciate it. I'm very excited that you bought it and you're also still here. Amazing. Would you hire a media buyer who is never using social media themselves? That's tough. I would think about that. That's a great question, Caleb, Mr. Paid Social. Thank you. I don't know if I would now. It's pretty hard. If they show like some other way of understanding deep deep empathy, maybe. Like if they can really empathize with consumers, maybe. But it's hard. It's really hard to justify that unless they're willing to not use social media themselves, but use it just for the purpose of studying for finding content. There's definitely a world in which someone doesn't have to be a social media user, a big time social media user, but they're still willing to like go create a Instagram account or a TikTok account relevant to these interests to go study. That maybe would be fine for me. But yeah, mostly I'd be pretty skeptical if someone wasn't actively using social media. Relatedly, I'll tell a quick story. As someone I've worked in agencies and been a VP and director in a lot of different roles where I've had to hire a lot. Like one question I've always asked in interviews is, what's your favorite like Chrome plugin or app on your phone or something like that? And I have been shocked at the number of times where someone has answered ad blocker, and I've never hired a person who that was their answer. If you're like, I understand the use and the desire to use ad blockers, but like if you're an advertiser, probably should be studying ads even when you don't want them. I actually hate that I pay for YouTube Premium because now I don't see the YouTube ads, but it saves me time. But like, it's important to be consuming ads. Even though I'm saying it's important to be consuming organic content, it's also important to be understanding ads and understanding when you see an ad. A lot of my make ugly ads like beliefs are from me also as a consumer despising seeing ads that just don't. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is terrible. My brain hates this. Why does my brain hate this? Why am I skipping by this? And I'll go back and try and like study it. So yeah, I'd be really careful about hiring a media buyer or creator in any creative anything who doesn't use social media themselves. This is going back to a great point, Jess. Thank you. Yeah, if you're listening to this and you're in an organization, please, and you're thinking about paying for this yourself, please send this to your boss. I bet your boss would pay for this, and or take it with them. Suggest that they take it with you as well. Why not? I think that is great. And if send them an email to me, and I'll tell them why they should. So thanks for that call out there, Jess. Let's see what else there is. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Oh, hey, good to see you. That's amazing. I hope you book some more time with me or take the course. You'll get even more. But yeah, this is a huge, that's really, really kind to say that. Thank you. Are all bonuses? No, the course will not be available until February. So we won't be releasing any of the materials until then. Good question here. Are all bonuses immediately available after payment? No, you're going to get that stuff in February when the course launches. And then this is an interesting question. What is it ultimately about, quantity or quality? It's both. Like, I love this question. I would say it's quality first. This is a tough one because it's a little bit of both. You have to come to it with quality ideas, come to it with deep empathy for your consumer to find the messaging, the angles, the words, literally the words that matter to your audience. That's the quality side. But you find that through volume. You can find that through volume and through making lots of stuff for cheap, which is why, again, making ugly ads is better because you can use ugly ads to learn and then take what you learn in ugly ads and you can go make pretty. I often don't think you should, but like you can go make prettier ads that maybe work on TV using the principles and the things that you learn on social. Like there's a lot that you can do there. So I think it's fundamentally both about quantity and quality, but not, I would say neither of them alone. Unfortunately, you have to have a lot of good quality stuff. That's a shitty answer. I apologize, but really that is the truth. What would be the question here from John? What would the top 3 things you would say to increase the hit rate of the creatives that we make? One, I don't know where this hit rate term comes from. I hate it personally, and Maybe we'll dig more into this in the course. I don't know. I think fundamentally, hit rate is not a metric that matters, because it relates directly to volume. I don't care. If you make 1,000 ads and one hits massively, or if you make 10 ads and only one hits, it doesn't matter to me. What matters more is how much it costs to produce them at scale, how replicable they are. So I don't care about hit rate. I don't know why anyone would be measured on that. In fact, I think I have to dig more into it, like psychologically, or why agencies or anyone talks about hit rate, because I think having a high hit rate rewards people to make fewer things. I don't know. It doesn't align. Like, I'd rather take more swings. I'd rather people take more swings, different swings, try different stuff. So I don't know. Thank you for this. Course is bought. Thank you, Artem. Love to see it. I appreciate that. Here's a question here. I work with fashion and luxury. Do ugly ads work when we work with aspiration? This is like such a core key thing. Like, yeah, it's not about making the ugliest ad that you can. It's not about making things to be like ugly, like so bad, like people won't like it. It's to make things relatable and authentic and believable. So I think you might not, I don't know if you were here earlier when I mentioned this, but like, you can still shoot a luxury watch on your phone. You can take the picture, take the video with a phone, but pair it with elegant, elevated accessories. Pair it with an aspirational setting. Pair it with, like, you can like use props. Like, look, you can show, $10,000 cash. Like, you can show that. Think about what that does to when someone sees that versus showing $2. If you just show two crumpled up $1 bills, you see fresh $10,000 cash. Like, psychologically, putting it in the frame, even if it's just in the background, or putting other things in it, that's where you elevate. You make it uglier by using authentic camera, using a real camera that someone would use, shooting it in more natural, normal lighting. Don't worry about perfecting the lighting. It's okay if the lighting's a little ugly. But find ways to make it a little uglier. So maybe don't make ugly ads, but make uglier ads is what I would typically say. And just, it's all about empathy. The whole thing is about empathy. Like, you can still be making luxury stuff and be empathetic to your audience and message them in a relevant way. So great question, Valentina. Thank you. Let's see if we can do a couple more. If you have any more questions, we're running out of some time here, but would love to see if you have any here. Let me just double check how we are on time. We're doing okay. How would you try to translate D2C things over to B2B and B2C lead gen? I love this question also. B2B is still fundamentally B2P. I don't know who told me that once, but it stuck with me. You're still advertising to people. Businesses don't buy anything. People buy things. So if you're going to be advertising to them, you might not be able to optimize for that like end purchase. Like if you're selling SaaS, $10,000 a month SaaS subscription or something, like, you might not be able to optimize for that action effectively because that sales cycle might be months long. But you have to think, asking yourself the question, okay, how do we get new people in this funnel? What messaging matters to them? What matters to them, period? And how do what are the words that we need to say? What are the things that we need to address? The problems we need to solve for them to get their attention, to get them to click with intent and get them to take action. And what do we do it's also really, what do we do on the website to give them more information and track that action? Like for a B2B, the goal might not be the actual sale. The goal might be, how do we get them to take an action? How do we get them to send ask for more info? How do we get them to watch a video on the site and track that event on the website? So it's the same principles from an ads perspective for B2B and B2C. In fact, I would argue in a lot of ways, even more valuable, because in the B2B world, so few people understand consumer focused advertising at the level that D2C marketers tend to. So I think that there's a lot to learn in terms of making stuff that is relevant. And I've seen a lot of software companies. I've seen a lot of agencies making ads in a more authentic native style that really works for them, and can get people in the door. And it might not be the stuff that gets people over the line, but at least it gets them in the conversation, aware of the brand. And that's a big enough component. So I really like that question. Thanks for that one. I'm trying to think if there are any brands. I don't know if I have any good examples of brands for B2B, B2C that off the top of my head, they're doing good ads. Let me come back to me in this. I'll try and come back to that in a second. I have one in mind. I'll see if I can pull up their ads, because there's one company that's done a really good job on me specifically. I haven't bought yet, but I've been seeing them for months, if not years, and I'm like, oh, I should go buy that. But yeah, what else here? Oh yeah, I want to ask. It's prop money, dude. I have prop money. This again, something we're going to talk about in the course. Why would I have $10,000 cash in my office? It's incredibly risky, especially to flash it around. I actually have a lot more than $10,000 cash lying around here. It's not real, but you can have it. You can put it in ads, fanning it. You can take it out. You can crumple it up and, throw it at the camera. You can make it rain money if you want. There's a lot that you can do with props. Or a small investment in stuff like this to use just as accessories in your frame, because again, it can help people subconsciously understand what you're talking about or what this is for or what it is, just by having stuff in frame in the background that matters. So yeah, good question. I like that you asked that. Let's see what else here. I think we're good. I think we're probably good on time here. There's one other question here about mindset. We can talk about this a little bit. Again, this is something we'll dig more into the course, but the mindset is, I think is what gets in a lot of people's way. I think so many people I talk to in the space, they think, if you're in this space and you think our website's really good, our ads are really good, must be the media buying. No, it doesn't matter. It must be the CPMs are up. It must be the everyone's competing. No, it doesn't matter. Those all might be true. Doesn't matter. Your costs are going to go up. I've been doing this way too long. The costs are always going to increase. It's always going to be getting more competitive. You have to get that much better. That's the game. So having that mindset of just I'm good. Actually, you can also think maybe you suck. That's fine. Sometimes I think I suck. And maybe you do suck. And maybe you are great. Either way, you have to be getting better always. You have to look at things from a lens of, how do I make this better? You also should take the time to sell. It's hard just to not be too hard on yourselves. You also have to take the time to celebrate your wins and pat yourself on the back when you do have one, because you are good and you are smart, especially if you're in here watching this right now. You're doing something fundamentally good. Pat yourself on the back. Thank you for being here. But you still can do better. You can still sign up for this course and learn more. You can still continuously improve and just have that pursuit of always being better, always doing better. And that's the mindset. And that's the core of the mindset is just this belief in continuous improvement, and not that things are the way they are, so let's just, leave them. It's when you see something, you say something. There's so much to this that we're going to get into in the course. And you've probably also, even I just gave it to you right there. That's a lot of it. So hopefully that's enough of an answer right there. for you to enjoy. Thank you, Valentina. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think, oh, let me double check what I got here. Yeah, I think that's good. I think this was, I hope this was super valuable for everyone. Please, consider checking out the course. Again, you got 2 more days to get it at this discounted rate. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you have any other questions about the course, please drop them in here or follow up, send the email to, was it Barry at buildingadswithbarry.com. We can send a follow-up to everyone here. Go subscribe, go check it out. But seriously, I appreciate it. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you haven't signed up for the course yet, literally there's no other reason to wait. This is recorded for those of you who came in late. I think like about half of you came in a little bit late. This is recorded. This will be available later. We'll send this out. Yeah, I think that's it. If anyone has anything else they want to, say or whatever, drop it in the comments before you go. But I think we're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to go chug some water because I'm super thirsty. I've been talking so much, but this was so much fun. I'm honored and it's so appreciative of so many of you being here. Thank you for consuming this. I hope this was valuable. Oh yeah, you wanted the BDB brand. Okay, stick around for a second. I will get you that. I'm gonna let's just hang out for a second while I can try and find it, because it's oh man, it's for helping business owners, solopreneur. Let me see if I can find the ad. Help. Not that. Oh man, I'm not gonna find it quickly. I might have to send this in an email to everyone just as an example. That's too bad. I don't think I can find it quickly. That's tough, but it's a company that makes, has an accountability thing for, let's see if I can find it. Now I'm leaving everyone. Commit Action. I found it. Okay. We did it, everyone. It's called Commit Action. They have a great example of B2B ads. Let me see if I can find it for you. I'll pull up their ad library. We can talk about it really quick. And I'll spend a couple seconds here before we say goodbye again. Classic Barry. If any of you have ever had a call with me, you know that I never want to hang up. Commit Action on Instagram and Facebook. Let's share this tab. So I'm not co-signing all their ads. I haven't worked with them. I'm not saying like, oh, that all of these are great. A lot of these look still too polished and pretty for me, but I think you can see some of these down here. Watch, like you can see, I don't know if you can see this super well here, but it says like, watch this if you struggle with focus and discipline. And I was like, well, fuck, that's me. So I watched it. And like, it had me called out right there. And like, yeah, this is actually
mental isolation is the number one thing
that's pretty ad. So I can't speak to the quality of this one, but like, again, I'm sure they've used some uglier versions, to learn that. And I know I've seen some like selfie videos, like here's one right here.
That
one's not
taking more action.
Let's see if they have one.
So yeah, I have already recommended Commit Action to
That's
a lot.
Not a great hook anyway, but a lot of these, I don't know. I'll have to try and cherry pick and find someone from the past that have worked on me. It's also, who knows, they could be working with different creators now, different creative agencies, something like that. But definitely that is something that I've seen, like it's worked on me. And it's just like, it felt very much like they were making ads that were about humans, like for me to consume. And it was relatable to me and the problems that I have. Maybe you can maybe argue, maybe that's D2C, not really B2B, but I do very much think that's B2B. So anyway, there we go. We close the loop. That's it. We're going to shut it down right now. Thank you again. Go sign up for the course. I'm honored to anyone. I'm excited to see you all in the course, whoever's joining. I'm honored for you to have spent this time with me. Thank you so much. I'll see you in Twitter, LinkedIn, newsletter, YouTube, where you get your Barry Hot content. I'll see you there. Thanks, everyone. See ya.